So I officially watched In the Heights. I went through all of the soundtrack here on YouTube with you guys. So if you haven't seen it, you can go check that out. And then on Patreon, we watched together on a live stream, and it's up there loaded. But In the Heights, it was a really fun experience. It was fun watching it with you guys. Actually, I love doing that because it's cool when you guys have like these inputs. You can like you give little side facts and be like, oh, did you catch that? Like that was Lin-Manuel's parents in there. You know, like a little cameo and like things I would have never known. That just makes it that much more enjoyable to actually watch. So if you have not seen it yet, it is on Patreon. If you are interested in that, there's two Patrons, international and regular, depending on your location and the price tiers and stuff. But for those that aren't able to make it on here, just want to hear my thoughts, I really enjoyed it. First off, my favorite thing about it that I want to talk about, and I commented throughout the whole movie, is the cinematography. Couple tiers of that. The cameras that they used, they had to be 8K cameras or something like that because they were so crystal clear. It was crazy. Just the way that so there's something called bokeh or bokeh, depending on how people pronounce it. And what it is it's kind of like what you see in right now. So you see me very clear, but the background is very blurred. The background blurring is called bokeh or bokeh. Now you just see like really nice bokeh around the characters. It's just the angles that they used were really, really, really well done. On top of that, the coloring I felt like was really, really cool. It's just when you record, typically you record actually pretty flat, and then you adjust some colors called LUTs, or like color correction, the simple term that we use on Instagram, or like filters. Really create this really dynamic image. It was really, really cool. The third part about that is that cinematography is how the music matched the video. Or the video matched the music, however you want to do it. The Foley stage, all the different things that you'd hear clacking and clanking and stuff. The footsteps, it just was so in time with the beat. It was so wildly done. Next, I want to talk about the Latin culture. Being 50% Spanish or Latino, being my mom from El Salvador, I highly related to a lot of these Latino, just cultural things in it, and they portrayed it really well. And I saw my mom the day I watched it, and I was like, man, you're gonna love this movie because I think they really embodied Latin culture really, really, really well. Now, obviously, this is talking about the DR, but my mom's from El Salvador, but just the cultures are very similar to some degree. And I just between the parties and the dancing and the food and the way that they'd speak, the slangs, it's just like, man, I to some degree felt like I was watching a movie, but my Latin side of my family, it was pretty cool. So I think they did a really good job of that. One side note though, it was longer than I anticipated. It was 2 hours, I think, in like 20 minutes or something like that, which is, I just didn't expect that. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, wow, I can't believe that Lin filled that much time. I totally expected it to be like an hour and a half. But then again, Lin-Manuel Miranda has a Hamilton, which is 3.5 hours or something like that. But I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. Another storytelling aspect of it, and this kind of relates to the songwriting because like it's a similar concept. They did an incredible job throughout the entire movie at keeping the viewer engaged, because they would kind of reference something but not explain it right away. So for example, they would say, I'm going to make something totally up so I don't spoil the movie, but say they would say, oh, when I lost my girlfriend, talking conversation. Well, like you'd be like, oh, well, how did he lose his girlfriend? And now what that does is it engages the listener or the viewer, and it makes you want to know how they lost their girlfriend. So it like makes you stay for the next part of the movie or the future of the movie, because you're like, I want to find out why and how and what happened. And there were so many times throughout the movie that happened. Like they would reference something that they hadn't fully explained yet, and then they would explain it later. So I thought that was really, really, really well done. The last part I want to talk about is my sister brought this up, and this is very funny, and she brought it up to my family and stuff, and then apparently she thought that my family was making too big of a deal about it. But it was a caveat that she wanted to mention, because she watched it, actually. She and her husband watched it. She lives in Queens. She lives in the city. She lives in Queens. And one thing that she gets frustrated about with movies about, and it's like not totally possible, but I understand where she's coming about. Movies and TV shows, for example, In the Heights or the show Friends, one of the things that they lack is the practicality of travel. She's like, dude, when you live in the city, it takes forever to get anywhere. And she's like, the fact that they were just dancing around and instantly they were in the pool, she's like, it probably took them an hour to get to the pool, because you have to take this bus to this train to this thing, and it's like it's so hard to get to places in the city, because even to get your groceries down the street, you got to take a bus to this, to walk down 6 flights of stairs, and it's like, so she's like, that was my only thing. And she's like, she says that about all city related things, like I said, the TV show Friends or In the Heights. It's like they don't never do a good job because people move to New York and think everything's 4 inches from you, but it's actually very not true. For example, when I used to live in Queens, I used to have to take a bus from my college campus to get to the city, to get to Manhattan. I used to have to take a bus to, I think it was one or if not two buses, one bus down and I had to walk to the bus, then take the bus, and then walk farther, and then take the 7 train for like an hour. It was like a whole process for me to get to Manhattan, which was like 4 miles away. So that is a very valid point. Where in movies you'd be like there in 30 seconds. But I thought it was really, really, really well done. I thought it was really cool. The music is fantastic. I mean, we already knew that, but it was cool to see how like the music matched the videos and just how they tied everything together. And I was able to understand the storyline a little bit better. So if you're interested in watching it, like I said, it's on both Patreons. If you want to check that out, along with my Hamilton full viewing, you can watch that one. This one had the movie on the screen, which the Hamilton one didn't, because I was still learning how to figure all that stuff out, and just because it was I wasn't sure about copyright issues and stuff, and that is the case. And there's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff on Patreon, including live Zoom calls with me and just more content and different styles of content. And if you're interested in like Olivia Rodrigo content, I just posted a Hot Ones interview, which she eats the spicy hot wings, which are my favorite style interviews. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I definitely enjoyed the movie. Stay tuned for more stuff like this. Have a great day. God bless and peace out.